Hello, passionate Celtic FC fans. This is Celtic Central News, your exclusive source for Celtic updates. Before we kick off, we appreciate the incredible support. If you love Celtic, subscribe now, hit like, and let's build this community together. Now, onto the latest news. A warm welcome to new subscribers. Your support is crucial. Hail, hail. The atmosphere around the club has taken a dramatic and unexpected turn, and supporters are now gripped by a wave of speculation that refuses to settle. Reports emerging from within the corridors of power suggest that the board has taken an uncompromising stance regarding Kelechi Iheanacho, a player who not long ago was seen as a crucial piece of the attacking puzzle. The statement, attributed to club officials, blunt and absolute in its tone, has sent shockwaves through the fanbase, leaving many to wonder what could possibly have unfolded behind closed doors to justify such a definitive position. It is not every day that a club draws such a firm line in the sand, especially when it concerns a player of Iheanacho's pedigree and proven ability in front of goal. The whispers have grown louder with each passing hour, and while nothing has been formally confirmed in a detailed manner, the language being circulated paints a picture of a relationship that has deteriorated beyond repair. For a club with ambitions as high as Celtic's, these internal fractures can have far-reaching consequences, both on and off the pitch. As the story continues to gather momentum, those close to the situation suggest that tensions had been simmering for quite some time before reaching this apparent breaking point. Iheanacho, known for his composed finishing and intelligent movement, had arrived with expectations that he would seamlessly integrate into the squad and elevate the attacking unit to new heights. However, football is rarely that simple, and the reality behind the scenes often tells a different story from what fans see on match days. Sources hint at disagreements that may have stemmed from tactical roles, training intensity, or even personal dynamics within the dressing room. While none of these claims have been officially substantiated, the narrative being constructed is one of growing frustration on both sides. The board's alleged declaration that he will never play for the club again feels less like a sudden decision and more like the culmination of a series of unresolved issues. Supporters are left piecing together fragments of information, trying to understand how a promising chapter could spiral into such a definitive and controversial conclusion. There is also a growing sense that this situation may reflect deeper structural tensions within the club itself. When a decision of this magnitude surfaces, it often points to more than just a single disagreement between player and management. It raises questions about communication, leadership, and the broader strategic direction being pursued. Iheanacho's case could be symptomatic of a wider disconnect, one that has perhaps been quietly brewing beneath the surface. Fans have begun to debate whether this is an isolated incident or part of a pattern that could impact other players in the squad. The uncertainty has created an atmosphere of unease, as supporters wonder who might be next to fall out of favor. In the world of football, stability is often the foundation of success, and any signs of internal discord can quickly undermine even the most carefully constructed plans. The club now finds itself at a crossroads, where every decision will be scrutinized and every rumor dissected in search of clarity. From Iheanacho's perspective, the situation appears equally complex and layered. A player of his caliber does not simply accept being cast aside without reason, and there are suggestions that he may have his own version of events, one that has yet to be fully revealed. It is entirely possible that disagreements over playing time, tactical usage, or even contractual matters played a role in the breakdown of relations. Footballers at the highest level are driven by ambition and the desire to perform, and when those aspirations are not aligned with the club's vision, friction becomes almost inevitable. The notion that he might never wear the shirt again is a dramatic one, and it invites speculation about what steps he might take next. Will he push for a move, seek to clear his name, or remain silent as the story continues to unfold? Each possibility adds another layer of intrigue to an already captivating narrative that shows no signs of slowing down. Meanwhile, the reaction from the supporters has been anything but unified, reflecting the complexity of the situation. Some fans appear to back the board's firm stance, trusting that the decision has been made in the best interests of the club as a whole. Others, however, have expressed concern and even disbelief, questioning whether such a drastic measure is truly justified. Iheanacho's contributions, both in terms of goals and overall play, are not easily forgotten, and many supporters feel that more transparency is needed before drawing conclusions. Social media has become a battleground of opinions, with theories ranging from disciplinary issues to deeper conflicts within the squad. The lack of clear, official communication has only fueled the speculation, allowing rumors to flourish in the absence of concrete facts. In modern football, perception can be just as powerful as reality, and the club now faces the challenge of managing both. As the days go by, the story continues to evolve, with new whispers and interpretations emerging from various corners of the football world. Journalists, pundits, and former players have all weighed in, each offering their own perspective on what might have transpired. Some suggest that the situation could still be salvaged, pointing to past instances where seemingly irreparable relationships were eventually mended. Others believe that the language used by the board indicates a finality that leaves little room for reconciliation. The truth likely lies somewhere in between, hidden behind layers of confidentiality and strategic messaging. What remains clear is that this saga has captured the attention of the footballing community, turning what might have been a routine squad issue into a headline-grabbing controversy. For Celtic, the challenge now is to navigate this storm without allowing it to derail their ambitions on the pitch. The second phase of this unfolding drama introduces even more uncertainty, as speculation begins to shift towards what this means for the future of both the player and the club. If the reported stance of the board holds firm, then the question becomes not if Iheanacho will leave, but when and under what circumstances. Transfers are rarely straightforward, particularly when emotions and reputations are involved, and any potential move would likely attract significant attention. Clubs across Europe are always on the lookout for proven attacking talent, and a player of Iheanacho's profile would not go unnoticed. However, the circumstances surrounding his departure could influence both his market value and the level of interest he generates. Would potential suitors view him as a valuable opportunity or a risky investment? That remains one of the many unanswered questions that continue to fuel discussion among fans and analysts alike. At the same time, there is a growing belief that this situation could have ripple effects throughout the dressing room. Football squads are tightly knit environments, where trust and unity play a crucial role in overall performance. When a high-profile player becomes the subject of such a dramatic fallout, it inevitably raises concerns among teammates. They may begin to question their own standing within the club, wondering how quickly circumstances can change. This sense of uncertainty can be difficult to manage, particularly in a competitive environment where focus and cohesion are essential. The coaching staff now faces the delicate task of maintaining morale while addressing the ongoing speculation. Their ability to keep the squad united during this period could prove to be a defining factor in how the season unfolds. There is also the broader narrative of how this situation reflects on the club's identity and values. Celtic has long been associated with a strong sense of tradition and community, qualities that resonate deeply with its supporters. Any decision that appears to conflict with those principles is bound to attract scrutiny. The reported statement regarding Iheanacho has been interpreted by some as a show of strength, while others see it as unnecessarily harsh. This divergence of opinion highlights the delicate balance that clubs must strike between authority and empathy. In an era where player welfare and communication are increasingly emphasized, the handling of such situations can have a lasting impact on a club's reputation. Whether this episode ultimately strengthens or undermines that reputation remains to be seen, but it is a conversation that will not fade quickly. From a tactical standpoint, the potential absence of Iheanacho raises important questions about how the team will adapt. A striker with his skill set offers a unique blend of physical presence and technical ability, making him a valuable asset in a variety of attacking scenarios. Removing that option from the equation forces the coaching staff to rethink their approach, potentially altering formations and strategies. While squads are built with depth in mind, replacing a player of his caliber is never a simple task. This adds another layer of complexity to an already challenging situation, as the team must continue to compete at the highest level while dealing with internal disruption. The coming weeks could provide valuable insight into how effectively they are able to navigate these challenges. As speculation continues to swirl, attention has also turned to the possibility of mediation or intervention from external figures. In the world of football, it is not uncommon for agents, intermediaries, or even former players to step in and attempt to resolve conflicts. Whether such efforts are currently underway in this case remains unclear, but the idea has certainly captured the imagination of those following the story. A dramatic reconciliation would undoubtedly make headlines, transforming the narrative from one of division to one of redemption. However, the reported finality of the board's stance suggests that such an outcome may be unlikely. Still, in football, surprises are never far away, and until all options have been exhausted, the door to a potential resolution cannot be completely closed. The role of the media in shaping this story cannot be overlooked, as each new report adds another piece to the puzzle. Headlines, interviews, and insider accounts all contribute to the evolving narrative, influencing how fans and observers interpret events. In some cases, the line between fact and speculation becomes blurred, making it increasingly difficult to separate truth from conjecture. This is particularly true in situations where official statements are limited, leaving room for interpretation. The Iheanacho saga has become a prime example of how quickly a story can escalate, driven by a combination of genuine information and educated guesswork. For those involved, managing this aspect of the situation is just as important as addressing the underlying issues. Ultimately, this unfolding drama serves as a reminder of the unpredictable nature of football, where fortunes can change in an instant and relationships can shift just as quickly. What began as a promising chapter for Kelechi Iheanacho at Celtic has now become one of the most talked-about controversies surrounding the club. Whether this marks the end of his time there or the beginning of an unexpected turnaround remains uncertain. What is clear, however, is that the story has captured the attention of fans far beyond Scotland, turning a local issue into a global talking point. As the situation continues to develop, all eyes will be on the next move, waiting to see how this compelling and complex narrative ultimately unfolds. The longer this situation drags on, the more it begins to feel like a defining moment not just for the player, but for the club's immediate future. There is a growing sense among observers that the handling of Kelechi Iheanacho could set a precedent for how similar situations are dealt with moving forward. Clubs at this level are constantly walking a fine line between maintaining authority and preserving harmony, and when that balance tips too far in one direction, consequences often follow. Some insiders have begun to whisper that there may be more to this story than what has been allowed to surface, hinting at internal disagreements that extend beyond the player himself. Whether that is true or simply part of the rumor mill remains to be seen, but the perception alone is enough to keep the conversation alive. Fans, analysts, and even rival supporters are watching closely, trying to read between the lines and anticipate the next development in a saga that continues to unfold in unpredictable ways. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. At the same time, there is a quiet but persistent belief that situations like this rarely end as definitively as they begin. Football has a long history of dramatic turnarounds, where players once frozen out find their way back into favor under the right circumstances. It is this unpredictability that keeps hope alive among a section of the support, who refuse to believe that the door is completely closed. They point to past examples where strong statements were eventually softened, replaced by pragmatism and the need for results on the pitch. In that context, the reported stance of the board could be seen not as an irreversible decision, but as a negotiating tactic or a reflection of heightened emotions at a particular moment in time. Of course, that interpretation relies heavily on speculation, but in the absence of clear answers, speculation is all that remains. The idea that this story could still take an unexpected turn adds another layer of intrigue to an already compelling narrative. Another angle that has begun to emerge centers around the potential impact on the club's transfer strategy. If Iheanacho is indeed on his way out, then replacing him becomes an urgent priority, one that could shape recruitment decisions in the coming window. Scouts and decision-makers would need to identify a player capable of filling the void, not just in terms of goals, but also in terms of presence and experience. That is no small task, particularly in a market where proven strikers are in high demand and often come at a premium. There is also the question of timing, as any delay in resolving the situation could limit the club's options and force them into reactive decisions rather than carefully planned moves. This adds a layer of pressure to an already delicate situation, where every choice carries significant weight. The ripple effects of this saga could therefore extend far beyond the immediate controversy, influencing the club's trajectory in subtle but important ways. In the end, what makes this story so captivating is the sense that it is still far from reaching its conclusion. Each new rumor, each whispered detail, adds another piece to a puzzle that remains incomplete. For now, the image being formed is one of tension, uncertainty, and unresolved conflict. But football has a way of rewriting narratives when least expected. Whether Kelechi Iheanacho ultimately departs, reconciles, or simply fades from the spotlight in this context, his situation has already left a mark on the club and its supporters. It serves as a reminder that behind every headline are human dynamics, decisions, and emotions that shape the course of events. As the story continues to evolve, one thing is certain. It will remain a topic of intense discussion, speculation, and debate until a clear resolution finally emerges, bringing an end to one of the most intriguing episodes surrounding the club in recent memory. Hello, fan. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.